Hi, Brian. Hi, Brian.
How you doing, Pete?
Great.
Well, it's an honor to have the five of you as guests on something different. Why don't we get right to it?
Dude, it's great to be here with you.
Thank you. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself? It sounds cliche, but how did you come to get together?
Well, this is the Pete Sheips band. We got Smokin' Opie on guitar, Mark Mercier on the keyboards, Barry Seelan on the Hammond organ, Johnny Panchek on the drums, and I'm Pete Sheips. And we've been playing together for the last few years, mainly on the off nights, and just having a lot of fun. It's great to be here at Sully's Pub. Hope all your viewers enjoy the footage you got here.
Where do you hail from? Are you all native?
We're all in the Connecticut area. Opie's from down in Stratford. Mark lives out in Collinsville. And Barry's in Rocky Hill. And Johnny is the local boy right here in Hartford, Connecticut. And I live in West Hartford.
How long have you been playing for?
You mean me personally?
Well, for starters.
Well, I mean, I think, why don't we start off with Opie and we'll just pass the mic around since we only have one.
That sounds excellent.
I don't know, 20 years? Probably been playing about 20 years, maybe a little more. A lot of different bands. Been with Pete for probably the last 3. And we've been playing in a bunch of different bands the last couple of years. So like Pete said, this is an off-night thing where we all have a lot of fun, which this turns out to be more fun than the weekends most of the time.
Right, you can cut loose and kind of explore and just do your thing.
Oh, Pete, you never know who's going to be here.
Right.
It's always a surprise, you know? Like 1 week Mark's here, or Pivar, or Chang's always here. Chang's the mainstay in the band. How are you, Mark?
Good night.
See, how long have I been playing? I've been playing most of my life. This is a wicked long time.
Were they recording back then?
Huh?
Were they recording back then?
Were they recording? I'm not sure they even had tape back then.
Ah.
I suspect there was something around. I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
No, actually, the first recording I did was in a studio where there was no stereo back then, and the main potentiometer was a knob about this big around, and the guy would turn it up, and then at the end he would turn it down. Almost took 2 hands for him to turn it.
Wow.
So it was that long ago.
So when I put the needle on the vinyl, it would turn, maybe catch it.
That's right. That's right. You didn't need electricity. You just got this wooden needle in you. Anyway.
Hand cranked.
Johnny Panchek.
Well, I've been playing with Pete for 3 years now, like Opie. What an experience it's been with Pete for 3 years. It's been great. The Scars, this is a prime example of a typical weekend night right here for Saturday. But before that, I was in 8 to the Bar, Arizona, made a bunch of different bands, sitting in with different people. It's Pete's off night and his regular nights. I'm probably the only guy that's always here every week, but I enjoy it quite a bit, playing with such
Pretty
great
steady,
musicians. Yeah, exactly. Brother Chang, what about you, my friend?
About 300,000 miles, 400,000 miles.
With warranty.
Yeah. As is.
I can tell you're going to get a little more in depth now, huh?
Hey. How did you come to have the format that you have? As far as musicians knowing that they can just pop in anytime and just jam with you. How'd you reach that point?
How do we stop it? No, where's the button? No, actually, what happened was we started this off once again as an off-night thing, just to have fun, and we started playing a place called the Butterfly in West Hartford. And what we'd do is we'd switch off different nights. Barry would play, Mark would play, and started switching off some different people, and we just like to have a good time. Too often you play with your own band, the same people all the time, and it's fun to mix it up. So
Right.
just kind of out of necessity and wanting to.
That's awesome. So, what are some of the places you've had the privilege to play at?
Well, luckily we're still here at Sully's Pub for at least the next week. But we've played all over New England. Me and Opie went to Copenhagen, Denmark for a month last year.
Wow.
And played over there. And mostly, though, New England, Connecticut, Vermont, Rhode Island. Where else have we been, Opie? Massachusetts. Me and Opie and Chang play with some blues bands up in that area too. The Dave Robbins band among them. So we just been meeting different players and having fun doing it.
Who are some people that you've had the opportunity to play with that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to play with had you not had this format of?
Well, I'd have to start with Smokin' Opie, Mark Mercier, Barry Seelan, Johnny Panchek, Steve Miller, our mandolin player, who's not here tonight, and Bill Wallach, Jeff Pivar, Scott Morosky. There's been a lot of people that have played with us. J-Mo from the Allman Brothers. A lot of people that have played with us. This is a rich area in Hartford. There's a lot of great musicians. So,
yeah, there is definitely.
Yeah.
What do you feel are some dues that you've paid along the way? I mean, as far as what advice would you give to someone that's an up-and-coming, like, say, an open mic or something? They have a band together and they don't know what they want to do with themselves.
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm going to turn that over to Barry Seelan.
First of all, practice and have your stuff together when you come to the open jam and meet people that you want to play with. That feels good. You feel good playing together, and then practice together. Make some sort of a recording. Now it's easy to make CDs,
Right.
And then sell yourself. And then when you do get a gig, be together, be professional, be on time, be ready to play, and don't chase everybody out. Keep them there.
Sounds like good advice.
Just wanted to add something to it because the Hartford area is known for its. I mean, it's got some great musicians, but known for its judgmentality. I mean, the main thing is when you come to a gig, plan on having a good time because music is supposed to be fun,
Right.
and playing music is supposed to be fun first and foremost. And boy, that's you can have some serious fun. The whole situation. That's it.
I like how the mic keeps coming back to me.
All right. Now that we've kind of gotten formality-esqueness out of the way, why don't you relate an experience? Tell us a story. One of your more favorable moments in your musician-esque career.
Well, I think I'd like to turn that open to Opie to tell him about how we went to Copenhagen, Denmark.
Well, that wasn't my favorite moment, Pete. No, it was. Me and Pete lived in a dorm room together for a couple of weeks. But actually, my best moment in music was I got to play with Albert Collins once.
Nice.
The Icebreaker, and that was my favorite time. Besides for Wednesday nights. Seriously. What about you, Mark?
Favorite moments? No, it's just when everything clicks. I mean, tonight was a night where everything clicked, and those are my favorite moments, no matter who is playing.
Right.
And I think you're going to plan on that because some people with no names are great musicians, and it's really good to play with people like that. It really is.
Chang, I know you have a few experiences over the year.
Pete, there's so many from New Britain to Ludlow, Mass. But I'd say that, like nights like tonight was a special night. It's a night that when everyone is on and everyone's going for it, it doesn't even matter. Like, you're just in a zone and you're enjoying it. I mean, some of my other favorite times are opening for Traffic, and there was some good grooves. Obviously, I'm into the groove, so if Peter Tork and the Monkeys looking fine,
recently,
looking still young and everything. But yeah, so most of the time, if you just put into it, it's going to come out good. If you're playing with musicians like these guys, it's going to be easy. Brother,
I like playing with Mark Mercier.
Do you have a comment on that?
I like playing with Barry Seelan, too. Yeah.
How much of an influence do you feel the crowd has? The fans that come out to see you, how they affect your playing?
Well, especially on an off night, it really makes a big difference, because you're under a lot of pressure from the clubs and stuff to get people out.
Right.
obviously, or they don't want to pay you. And makes a big difference, especially when people are dancing. A lot of people don't realize that really gets musicians off, because it shows us that they're having a good time and relating to the music. What makes you want to take it up to a different level. Sometimes I can see, out in the crowd, we get a lot of people just come up and sit in with the band and stuff. You can see that they're ready to come up and join in that and add something to it. And, Bob Laramie, who's been playing with us, who played the bass, it's just amazing, spontaneity-wise. He can get up there and grab my bass and just rip it. So, what was the question? When did we do the paternity test? It was him.
I'm not saying a word. Well, to wrap up this interview with a final discussion, do you find that the music scene in the Hartford area has improved, say, in the past 10 years? Improved in the sense of diversity? Just to give an example, I found that there are very few clubs that cater to jazz music. Or there's very few clubs, it's very a limited selection for blues music. Have you found that that to be something that's changed in the recent past?
Well, I'd like to turn the mic over to Mark to answer that question, because I think he has some great input on that.
Oh, Lord. Music in the last 10 years in Hartford has probably been a pretty big roller coaster ride. Some of it is the way it's presented by clubs. Some of it is the way it's absorbed by the audience. I wish people would go out and hear live music more. And I think that probably would be a key to having musicians play live music more. But I wish there was more accessible live music out there for people to go and hear. It's just one hand washes the other. There's some stuff going on in various parts of Hartford, that appeal to certain crowds, but just your basic good time music, I don't know.
So you would agree with the statement that if people went out more to see what the Hartford area had to offer as far as live entertainment, that might actually create a stimulus to further the entertainment industry in this area?
I think that's one aspect of it, yeah. And I think if there were more clubs that presented live music, there would be more places for people to go. And if people who did live music had a great time at it, that would transfer to the crowd. So,
right.
Snowball starts at the top of the hill. Opie.
Well, from an outsider from Hartford, since I'm not from around here, I think the Hartford scene's pretty happening, because where I'm from, I'm in southern Connecticut. You don't go out too much and get a group of people like this together that are playing together, having fun, and there are some people coming out to see it, which is cool.
Right.
A lot of musicians are tight. They don't want to share. They don't want to play with other musicians. And I'll tell you what, over the last 2 years, just the Wednesday night things with Pete, I've played with some of the greatest musicians I've ever played with, and everyone here included. And I love playing with Barry, Mark, Pete, Johnny. So I think Hartford has a really good thing. There's so many musicians here.
Let's go right to the source, Laurel Street.
Living in Hartford, I just always said this for the last couple of years. We have the best musicians in the world here. As far as, I feel lucky being in the Pete Sheips band as well as others. And we're out playing, Pete's booking the dates. Not everyone has that luxury. And it's tough to get in the clubs, and I feel sorry for most of the bands. Not most of the bands, but many of the bands trying to get into where he has gotten, and on a repetitive basis, But there's a lot to choose from. I mean, if you just go out to any club, you can just most likely hear somebody good, at least one person in the band,
Right.
And it's something you'd hope everybody would do eventually. But right now, it's Hartford's a struggle, and it's continuing to be a struggle. Right in my neighborhood, we played the Hog River Grill, and that ended up closing, and that's down the street from me. And it's just a little example of how tough it is here. But I think that's why people are so much better here. They just have to work so much harder for their money. Barry?
Well, being somebody that has to travel halfway around the world to play for a really big crowd, it really hits home when I come home, and it's kind of a struggle. I'm glad to have a place to come and play. Granted, it's a Wednesday night, but it's great that we get together and do this, because we all do so many different things, and we get together on this thing. But, I don't know how many times I've been in, like, some really remote place in another country or whatever, and it's just like these people are just so into it, and there's tons of them.
Right, they're taking you in.
And they're like treating you like royalty, and I'm like, wow, we gotta come all the way over here to get this, and I come home and it's back to reality, But I like these Wednesdays. They're a lot of fun.
Well, that's basically the point of the program, Something Different, is to let people who, for one reason or another, aren't getting out of the house, or they don't know what's available to them as far as entertainment or taking the family out or going out on a date or whatever, that there is something to do. There's something to do other than sit in front of the TV and just letting the evening go by like that. And I do appreciate your being able to give us some of your time to share yourself with us.
That's right. You come on every Wednesday night, Sully's Pub at Lena's. We'll be rocking. Turn off that VCR.
On that note, I thank you. And now back to more of the Pete Sheips Band on Nutmeg Television.